What's going on, guys? My name is Holden, and today we are continuing on in our Bible story. Last week, Rebecca gave birth to two very different sons. Then the younger twin, Jacob, stole his older brother Esau's blessing. Jacob was so afraid of how mad Esau was that Jacob ran away from home, which is where our story today begins.
Jacob left home, fleeing his angry brother Esau. Jacob left to go live with his crazy relative Laban. On the way, Jacob made some questionable choices about the food that he ate and the locations where he slept. One night, Jacob had a dream where God promised Jacob that Jacob would always be taken care of.
Once Jacob got to Laban's place, he met a very beautiful woman named Rachel who was giving water to all her animals.
Jacob was obsessed with her from the moment he saw her and wanted to marry her very badly.
Sure, you can marry her on one condition.
Rachel's father wanted Jacob to work for 7 years before Jacob and Rachel got married. Talk about some small condition.
But for Jacob, the 7 years flew by in no time. He was so in love with Rachel, it felt like he could work 100 lifetimes, no problem.
And just like that, 7 years later, it was time for the wedding.
Jacob, why don't you wear this blindfold during the ceremony? That way, when you take it off, you'll see your wife Rachel for the first time.
Thanks, great idea. The wedding was beautiful.
We are gathered here today to celebrate the marriage of my daughter with Jacob. We're here to celebrate how they'll be together through thick and thin, and hurry up, I mean, raise a family together and just have a general great life. I now pronounce you man and wife, no givesy backsies, and it's done. What the?
Laban had tricked Esau, and instead of marrying Rachel, Jacob ended up marrying Rachel's sister, Leah. Doesn't feel so good when you're the one getting tricked, does it, Jacob?
Laban, you tricked me. Yes, and you shouldn't have done that. Didn't you trick your brother Esau into giving you his blessing? No matter. I want to marry Rachel too. No problem, on one condition.
Laban said that if Jacob worked for another 7 years, then he could marry his daughter Rachel, which is crazy. But Jacob did it, and then he had 2 wives, Rachel and Leah. They acquired many resources while working for Laban, and their family grew, and the amount of sheep they had grew, and eventually they wanted to start their own life, but Laban always found a way to make them stay with him where he was, until one day they all ran away.
Run!
But before too long, Laban caught up to them.
After all these years, this is how you treat me? After you got all your stuff from working for me this whole time? Laban, I've worked for you for over 14 years, and you've cheated me time and time again. Now I'm gonna leave with my family, and you've got to deal with it.
Jacob and his family stood up to Laban and started heading back to where Jacob used to live. And you know what that means.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
That's right. Jacob was heading back towards Esau, and he was afraid to face his brother again.
That night, Jacob couldn't sleep. He was too worried about facing Esau the next day, so he went outside to go get some air. But then the unthinkable, an angel of the Lord, sent to wrestle Jacob, ready to fight him all night long. They squared each other up, and then their wrestling match began. It was an epic clash, and both seemed to have the upper hand at one point or another. But then, finally, after many, many rounds, it was clear that they were perfectly and evenly matched. Their battle waged on and on until finally the day broke.
I see that we're evenly matched. I really gotta get out of here if you could just let me go.
Unless you bless me!
What is it with Jacob and blessings? Anyways, the angel did bless Jacob and said, "You have prevailed against both men and God." So, with that blessing, Jacob went ahead and went to go meet Esau. Esau,
I forgive you.
What? I had a whole speech!
Save it, man. No problem.
It was pretty much that easy. With that, Jacob and Esau were cool once again. By taking care of Jacob and Esau, God made good on his promise to Abraham that his descendants would become a great nation who had lots of resources and wealth and were a blessing unto the world. And one of Jacob's sons was Joseph, who we learned all about last year. So that completes our walk through the first book of the Bible, Genesis. I hope you enjoyed, and more content to come. Bye for now.